What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Prodigal Goat Gaming. Today we are rebuilding your Milwaukee Bucks in 2K26. Can we get Giannis another MVP, his third, and the Bucks their third finals win? It's going to happen. We got this on lockdown. However, after the Damian Lillard was let go and the Bucks still got $113 million left to pay him out over the next 5 years, it's going to be a little tough. Adding Myles Turner, I think, was a good move, but you got rid of one of your star playmakers on offense in Damian Lillard. So we're obviously going to need to find some shooting to make up for that. Hit that like, hit the subscribe button, and let's get straight into it. The 2018-2019 MVP in Giannis, and of course the 2019-2020 MVP is still here at age 30, and he's going to need shooters surrounding him. And this is a pretty balanced team, not gonna lie. Giannis is confident that things are going to be turned around and things are going to look good for them this season. But from my point of view, this isn't looking confident. And you lost Brook Lopez to the Clippers. I would not be super confident about this team. We're going to go ahead and get rid of probably Bobby Portis. It's probably gone, along with Gary Trent. Honestly, he's a three-point sniper, so let's keep him for now. Kyle Kuzma, for the amount of contract that he has, he's not worth it. At 30 years old, DeAndre Hunter and Max Strus, we get a bench shooter. Anthony Simons could be a playmaker, the playmaker guard that we could use. Colin Sexton and Miles Bridges, you're going to get a 20 points per game with a good 8 rebounds, in that small forward spot most likely is where he's going to go for this team. However, it is from the Hornets, so I mean, they got a lot of offense, and those are going to be two really good offensive players. OG is going to lock down on defense. You're not going to get anything past him. However, that's a lot of cap room to be picking up, especially if we're going to be making better moves throughout this entire video. Jeremy Grant, AJ Johnson, a younger guy. I'm looking at Anthony Simons, who's going to be a young point guard who's going to come in and play make for us. Or this trade is also really good because we're getting 2 offensive producers. Colin Sexton, of course, shooting over 40% from 3, which we need those shooters in here. And then Miles Bridges at that small forward spot, at least for the starting lineup. However, that's a lot of cap room as well. I'm thinking right now we're probably going to go with Anthony Simons because we need a young playmaking guard, and Anthony Simons will fit that role amazingly. However, the 3-point shooting is where I'm struggling. DeAndre Hunter could fill that small forward role, and Max Strus is obviously also a pretty good shooter. So we got a lot of options. I really like Colin Sexton. Miles Bridges I'm not as keen about because we don't really necessarily need him in the team. Malik Monk, he's a good shooter, but he's not that crazy of a shooter. Murray, I'm not even considering. Toby, Emmanuel Quickly is a pretty good shooter. However, this trade isn't worth it. I'd much rather have Anthony Simons. Dylan Brooks going to be your defensive playmaker. I mean, we could consider this trade too. We get backup center and Brandon Clark, and we get Santi Aldama, who's shooting at a decent clip of about 37%. However, I think in general we got to accept this trade. I don't like how much cap we're adding on, and I'm not necessarily too keen on Miles Bridges' side of the trade. However, putting him at the small forward spot might benefit the team. Now we have a lot of shooting guards and point guards. So adding Cole Anthony, pretty sure he just came from the Magic, pretty confident, yeah. Was probably a smart play, considering he's a decent shooter. However, I don't think we need him, or, I mean, Gary Trent's going to be that sniper, so really, if we put one of these guys at the point guard spot, I think Colin Sexton's going to fit in a little bit better right there. I mean, KPJ, what's his 3? Only a 78. Well, look, these are shooters, all right? We're shooting at 40. We're going to put Colin Sexton here. Thing is we got a pretty old team. I would love to bring in some decent youth. I feel like Anthony Simons could have been that decent youth. However, that's just not going to work out. KPJ, you know, he's shooting around 30%. I like him as a player. He's pretty decent. But Cole Anthony is a bit better, and I'd much rather have Cole Anthony than KPJ. Lonzo Ball's going to be at 3-and-D. He's been pretty decent on my Lakers video that I did. I really liked him, so he might go in the squad. But Tazday, I did none of these. Okay, TJ is going to be a bit older. He's going to be more of your passing playmaker. However, I think we could. Dante DiVincenzo is going to be shooting at a really good clip as well. However, Lonzo Ball is that 3-and-D stick, and we're getting him for about 10 a year. I really like that trade. Now, however, we are going to have to get rid of some guards because we are very guard heavy right now. Ryan Rollins is a bit on the younger side, so getting rid of him is sad, but I think we got to do it. Let's get rid of Coffee. Andre Drummond, DeAndre Jordan is a pretty good backup to have. Scottie Pippen Jr. is he's shooting about 40% from the 3. That's going to be at a great clip. Saric, this guy, he scored 11 points a game in Philly. He's 29 years old. I don't know too much about him. I'm not even going to try and butcher his name because I know that's going to happen. So, you know, I think we can get these Bucks. I mean, I feel like he could work. He's only on a $5 million. He could be that stick at power forward. For Giannis, he's not going to get any minutes anyways. Darren Holmes and Jalen Pickett, not bad. I like that trade a lot, but this is like a 1 to 2 season challenge. I'm not going to keep you guys super long. Clint Capella. AJ Mitchell, Terrence Shannon Jr. We're getting a lot of younger guys in these trades. However, because of such a low contract, we're going to go this guy, and he's going to fill in our backup power forward position. He's not going to get many minutes, but having somebody that's going to perform halfway decent is great. Obviously, we need to put Lonzo in the shooting guard, or Colin Sexton at the shooting guard. Honestly, let's put Colin Sexton at the shooting guard. He goes up a little bit, and then that's a pretty good one. Yeah, so we're evened out besides backup center. I think once we get that, we'll be locked and set. The thing is defense. I mean, Giannis is obviously a really good defensive playmaker. Myles Turner is pretty decent. However, Miles Bridges is going to drop off in Colin Sexton, and then Lonzo Ball's going to pick it up. Defensive-wise, we don't have a great team, and that makes me a little nervous. However, you know, we really could use maybe a defensive small forward to come off the bench. We trade one of our younger guys. Maybe we can get a decent defensive small forward. This guy. Let's see his stats. We want good interior. We want good perimeter. He needs to be able to do defense, offense. He's more of our main potential. Perimeter D and post D is halfway decent. However, that's not going to be the trade. Jalen Wilson, no, horrible post defense. And that's not what we're looking for. Okay, backup center. No. Just going to go ahead and be a no there. Santos. Yeah, Santos is decent. and Quentin Post. We're kind of getting a 2-for-1 here from the Warriors. And we, Champagnie, decent defense. Santos, I like where we're going with the defense. He's pretty defensive-minded. He's got a little bit of offensive too. What is he doing is the question as far as shooting. Hopefully he's shooting at a decent clip. Yeah, I mean 30% ain't bad. And then we got Quentin Post who's shooting 40% as a big. We're gonna add those guys. He's not exactly the main defensive playmaker I was looking for. But I think that's gonna shake up nicely. Maybe not. We're just not putting my guy Santos in at the small forward. Nicholas Batum, no, he's trash. I don't know how he's still a 75 overall with that crappy of a resume. Julian Champagnie again, he's scoring 10 a game. Jordan Goodwin at the small forward at 6'4". He's also kind of an defensive big. Yeah, but he's not going to be good at the small forward spot. None of these guys. Alright, we're just going to stick it for right now. I would like Santos to get some minutes. So we're going to throw in a little less power forward minutes and a little bit more Santos. Maybe less shooting guard minutes. It's going to be Gary Trent, who's asking for 27, which is a really significant amount of minutes for a backup shooting guard. But that's what we're going to have to deal with right now. Let's go to December 21st and see how things are shaking up. So if you haven't already, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out. Drop a comment if you like the Milwaukee Bucks and if you think this is going halfway decent so far. Obviously, we just built a deep roster. We haven't really brought alongside a crazy good playmaker next to Giannis. However, I feel like we've done pretty good. I feel like we've done halfway decent, and in this pretty stacked Eastern Conference. So here's the thing: the Pistons, the Knicks, and the Cavs are all going to be better than us, and that they have stacked teams. So right now we're building around Giannis. We're trying to get shooters. Once maybe we're a little closer to the deadline, we'll pick up a playmaker that's gonna go alongside Giannis. Hopefully at the guard position. I don't mind trading a couple of guys to try and get that star. Alright, so fourth is really not bad, and the Eastern Conference is doing pretty well this year. I want to trade Bridges, but let's see what this trade looks like right now. Peyton Pritch, John Collins. John Collins is going to be an offensive playmaker right next to, he'll go in the small forward spot. Ty Jerome, also an offensive playmaker, really an offensive playmaker. And then Brandon Clark coming off the bench at center. However, we got Quentin Post, who's probably filling that up nicely right now. This is basically a drop cap trade. If we wanted to do that, we'd be picking up Walker Kessler, which would be honestly pretty beneficial. Neesmith, he's going to be the defensive playmaker. And TJ, defensive playmaker and more of an offensive playmaker. However, TJ is not really shooting the three ball, and he's shooting less than 30% as a point guard, and that's the thing that scares me. Naz Reid, I think he could really fit well into the scheme of the team, especially if we put him at the small forward spot. have him at starting small forward. The problem is the latter end of this trade is Johnny Juzang. He's halfway decent, but he's not going to get minutes. Avdia is getting a lot of rebounds a game, which is really surprising. He can definitely play a small forward spot at 6'9", and you know, he's going to have pretty good defense. It's not bad. Russ, however, I'm really looking at a couple of trades here. I'm looking at Aaron Nesmith. I'm looking at Naz Reid, and I'm looking at I think that's what's in contention right now. I think this one we drop Cap if we're trying to get that, but Naz Reid I feel like is going to be a really good fit to the team, especially with post defense. Honestly, Avdia might be the way to go. I think we're going to go Avdia. Add Avdia. He's going to play the small forward. Okay, he's going to go all the way up to an 84. And he's an offensive playmaker too, which is nice. I feel like he's going to play decent defense. I know he's mainly an offensive playmaker, considering he's 14 points a game. He's just kind of an all-around pretty good player. Myles Turner. We're definitely going to get rid of Miles Bridges when the time comes that we can get rid of him. Obviously, our rotation's screwed for a minute. However, it is what it is. Miles Bridges is not yet back. Alright, so small forward-wise, we're good. Gooey, the Santos guy, can go, along with my guy here. Can we get a defensive playmaker and really an offensive? Really, we're looking for 3-and-Ds. Every team needs 3-and-Ds, or someone who's going to be halfway decent. Dante DiVincenzo. He's mainly going to be a 3. He's not as much going to be a D, but he's getting about 2 steals a game, so he's got to have decent. He's coming off a Timberwolves team that is really defensive-minded, which I like. I think we're actually going to do that. We're floating a little bit right now. We're floating the team a smidge. Putting Dante at shooting guard. That's going to fill that spot nicely, along with Gary Trent. Shooting guard minutes, we got a lot. I feel like Gary Trent can go. I feel like we have the pieces now. Let's just wait maybe another week until Myles Turner gets back. Oh my gosh. We pick up Dante and we absolutely smack the Hornets and the Wizards. And then we get hit with an injury. Alright, so here's the trade. We're hoping for a really good guard. Anthony Simons could be that guy. However, we're floating a little bit if we do that. Norman Powell is a really good guard. We want a playmaker who's going to dime up my guy Giannis, the 2-time MVP. Drew Holiday is going to be a defensive playmaker. Draymond Green's going to facilitate the offense and be a defensive menace. So a lot of options here that I like. However, I feel like, Davion Mitchell and Norman Powell is a pretty goated combo. You can definitely throw Norman Powell at a guard spot, if you wanted to. However, who do we have coming in at small forward right now? Denny Avdia. So we put Avdia at the shooting guard. We keep my guy Norman Powell at the small forward. And that could work out a lot better, because I think Avdia probably will go up a little bit. Cam. Post-centric. See the great line defense. Our defense is pretty good. We're going to change this to great environment. And then Gary Trent isn't fitting. So he's got to go. Obviously Dante will be filling in that spot, but Let's see if we just straight up trade Gary Trent Jr. Can we get somebody halfway decent? Malcolm Brogdon is not halfway decent. He's good, not great. Harris Shannon Jr., younger guy, 25. Rupert, not gonna go. Only throwing 2 guys. Bruce Brown, no. Nobody wants Gary Trent, and that's a problem. And for these signings, though, at the shooting guard, Miles Bridges is a really expensive contract. Of all the trades, I like this one the best. So we're going to go with this one right now. Because Norman Powell is a very good offensive playmaker. Putting him in the shooting guard spot makes this look nice. And we get a pretty experienced point guard who has a decent three-pointer. Our centers, we could get a better backup center and a backup power forward. Because we did just trade away, I'll butcher his name if I even tried to pronounce it, but we did just get rid of our backup power forward. They're giving me young guys, but I don't want young guys because this is a pretty short little challenge here. Obviously, a young guy would be nice, but none of these are necessarily young guys that I would want. DeAndre Jordan is going to be more of a rebounder. However, I think Quentin Post probably fits along with the team pretty well. He's getting about 5 a game, but he's coming off the bench for Myles Turner. So maybe just a backup power forward is really all we need. Paul Reed. Put only 3 people in here. Paul Reed and Javante Livingston. SPJ. Cam Spencer. So really, right now, fighting for depth in a couple positions. Center is actually really taken up, but that's because Jeremy Sims is actually getting a lot of minutes. So if he's getting minutes, we put one of these guys at power forward who's going to have the better 3-point. It's going to be Quentin Post, so he's going to go in the power forward. And that evens out the minutes pretty darn well. Rupert's getting minutes at the shooting guard, which I don't necessarily love, but hey, we got a deep team, we got a deep roster. We listed the Kings, which they're not even good. Should we have kept? No, because then we're beating teams like the Nuggets and the Timberwolves, which are high elite level teams. And we barely lose to a lot of the losses. We barely lose. The Warriors probably have a pretty good matchup scheme, considering that we're a pretty post-centric team with Giannis. We're gonna go right here before the trade deadline. Give me a couple of wins. I mean, we beat the Thunder, we beat the Hawks, which are a really good team. Alright, now we got a lot of shooting guard minutes, and now we don't have enough point guard, but I think, yeah, Davion Mitchell's hurt. Rupert, small forward. That's your new position, buddy. And then that's way too many minutes. Oh, we picked up Bogdanovich. Can Rupert and Bogdanovich go? 28 days. It's unfortunate. Backup power forward. Come on, give it to me. Dolan Jones is the best we got here. Really? What is Avdia doing? He's doing about 15 a game. He's getting 5 assists. He's getting about a steal a game. Norman Powell, he's getting 19 a game. I really like him as a shooter. We stacked this team with shooters. We did. Let's just see Bogdanovich. I need a power forward. We'll throw in a swap Worst with Timberwolves pick, I guess. Larson, Bronny, Brandon Williams, Holmes might have to be that guy. And I actually like Holmes. Holmes has a lot of potential to be halfway decent in this league. We'll take Holmes. We'll take it. Shooting guard minutes, we have a ton. Rupert and all we got is Dante and Norman Powell. Dante's gonna go in at point right now. No. Oh, Lonzo Ball's hurt too. So no wonder. Giannis. Oh, Post is now getting powerful minutes when you change that to center. And then honestly, if Jericho Sims just wants to stay, that's fine with me. We're gonna have a gigantic lineup coming off the bench, that's for sure. But you know, that works with me. We don't win against the Nuggets, then we lose against the Mavs. The Mavs are actually a pretty stacked team if they can keep off the injuries. And then we win against the Pelicans. So right now, we're standing below the Pistons, Knicks, Pacers, and Raptors. And the Cavs. We shouldn't be below the Raptors and the Pacers, considering we have Myles Turner. I like this squad because we're bringing a lot of depth. Dante is getting 13 a game. Don't want to ruin that. Davion Mitchell's only getting 7. But he's also off to a rough start with the injury. I mean, I like a shooting big coming off the bench. I honestly like our bench a pretty good bit. Obviously, things are going to have to change as soon as everyone comes back. We're just going to stick it. I think once we have our guys back, it shouldn't matter. Come back from injury. Come on. We beat the Magic twice in a row. Quentin Post is back. Okay. I feel like we have a pretty goated team. I think we put somebody here. It's not him. However, I need his experience. Like it still works until Lonzo gets back. So we're pretty much good right now, but hey, we're gonna make a playoff run. Alright, I feel it. Okay. Lonzo's gonna come back. Let's see. Lonzo, he's back-ish, kind of. Somebody needs to go to the shooting guard, and it's either gonna be him, Davion dropped significantly, or Dante. I don't want to put Dante there. We're going to put Lonzo. Especially until he... What if, theoretically, we put Norman Powell at the small forward? Oh, but we like him. I really like him at the shooting guard, especially with his 3-point, which is an 87. He's a driving force. I like where we're at here. Do that maybe, and then do this. Yeah, okay. That evens things out a good bit. Alright, we're getting wins. We're getting a lot of wins. I mean, we have a couple of off losses, but this stretch right here is huge for our playoff push, and really just, you know, I feel like we're going to be that stick as soon as we get to the playoffs. I feel like we're going to dominate. We lose to the Suns, which is kind of weird considering the Suns have like 4 bigs, and jeez, Norman Powell just might have shot our playoff chances. And Danny Avdija and Dante and Norman Powell. I always say these things, and then this crap happens. I mean, we literally don't have anybody right here, right now. They better be back. We gotta be back for playoffs. Right now, we're screwed. We're gonna lose all of these games. Just remain in that 6th spot. Hold out the 6th spot. Okay. Alright, that evens things out pretty nicely. Alright, keep going. Keep on trucking. We're getting some wins. We're going up to fluctuating between that 6th and that 5th. Okay, shooting guard wise, we're missing Norman Powell, which is fine. We have such a deep roster going into the playoffs. Deep roster. Giannis is coming in with a lot of shooters by adding all these shooters to the team, and we're gonna get that 4th spot in that Eastern Conference. Our first game is against the Cavs, and we did not do great against them in this regular season. Therefore, Sims is going to need to come in at center temporarily, and then that'll even things out. Can we get a W? Alright, first game is a loss. We're going to come back 1-1. Okay. Sims, somebody's going to have to go back at the power forward. Yes, that's looking great. Good rotation. Alright, we're down 2-0. We got to get a win. Yeah, we're going to get another win right here. Alright, we're 2-2. What adjustments would we make for the playoffs? Because right now, we're looking at giving Dante DiVincenzo that starting spot at point. Lonzo, that starting spot at shooting guard. Avdija. Giannis is doing 26 a game with 9 rebounds. So a little bit of a drop-off in the playoffs. Myles Turner has been here before, literally last season. I like Davion Mitchell's performing. Everyone's doing great things. Avdija's getting locked down a little bit. However, he is doing good on defense. Rupert is playing minutes, significant minutes, which don't know how I feel about that. Alright. Let's get Rupert in here at the shooting guard. Norman Powell's out. We get him in here at the shooting guard. We get Holmes in small forward, even though he's much of a bigger, but that'll be a gigantic lineup. Let's try that. Oh, jeez. 3-2. I don't want our playoff spot to be absolutely cooked. Davion Mitchell's now starting. He's getting 11 a game in there. Lonzo is getting 13. Avdija is getting 11. I really like where we're at. The problem is Giannis picked the pace back up. Myles Turner picked the pace back up. The problem is, honestly, if we had Norman Powell right now, we might not be having such a bad playoff run. I think we need to put my guy. So the bench is the struggle right now, the struggle bus. So we're going to switch some positions around. We're going to put Dante at starting shooting guard. We're going to put Rupert back at small forward. Backup point guard is going to be the problem here. We're going to put Lonzo at backup point for Davion, which I like. And then I think that might shake things up a little bit, yes. Because now we can have Dante still in the starting lineup. Lonzo can come in with bench minutes. The problem is obviously shooting guard minutes is a bit of a struggle, but that's because Norman Powell's out. Please go 3-3. We get eliminated in the first round to a stacked Cleveland team that we have not been able to beat all year. They've been pretty rough on us. It's really unfortunate we had to play them initially. However, I think we built a absolutely stacked roster. It's super deep. We have our playmakers. We got our defense. An all-around good squad. Obviously, look, perimeter lockdown right here. Perimeter lockdown, post lockdown. You know, maybe if we changed up our... no, the grit and grind is just working. Or really, defense would have been 4.5 stars. But the grit and grind... it's just stacked. Stacked roster. I can't believe we lost. Let's see. What did the Cavs do this offseason? They kept practically everybody. I think they added Harrison Barnes from the Spurs. Yeah. Or is that Sacramento? Or is that San Antonio? I don't know. Sam Merrill, Prince. So they have a decent bench, but just not as good as ours. Ours is super deep. However, they have 2 playmakers. I think if we could have done anything, it would have been bring in a playmaker. Really, if the Bucks had kept Damian Lillard, traded him, and got a playmaker like Tyrese, somebody who's going to assist the ball to Giannis, I think that main guard playmaker should have been a key priority going into the season. I tried to trade some around and get a star playmaker. However, it just didn't end up like that. We just ended up having a super deep roster with playmakers all across the board. But in the end, we lose in the first round of playoffs. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Keep looking out for more rebuilds. Go back, watch the Lakers video just recently posted a few days ago. Go back and look at my 7-1 all-around big build with deep bomber. Pretty stacked, if I do say so myself. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great one.